So this is a Lunar Clubman SE. Just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, you've got your jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake, which will demonstrate to you in person on site. In the front locker, you have your 2 gas bottle tie downs where you can mount a maximum of 2 6-kilogram propane gas bottles. I've got to put the strap around this one, but when you are travelling, you do need to make sure they are strapped into the van with the straps around them, and you also need to make sure the gas is turned off in front on top of the bottle. So you've got gas open by turning anti-clockwise and gas closed by turning clockwise. For now, we're going to leave that open until you arrive on site. You can ignite everything up. I will show you everything ignited on gas once we go inside the van, but you just need to make sure that it's turned on prior to trying to ignite anything inside the van on gas. Coming down the side of the caravan, you've got your Aldi heating and hot water flue. Very simply there to allow the heating system to breathe, so it's pretty much the same as a flue on your house. Below that, you have your wind down legs. There's 4 of these in the van. There's 1 on the opposite side in the same place, and there's 2 that come in from the rear of the caravan also, below what essentially in your car would be the bumper. You've then got your water pump connection. Push the blue trigger down and release the pump, and push the blue trigger down and push it in place and lock the pump in place with the blue trigger. The pickup pipe needs to be fully submerged in water prior to turning the water pump on. If you don't fully submerge it, it can potentially draw air up inside the water system. I'll show you how to fill the system once we go inside the van. You've got your battery. If you ever need to disconnect the battery, it's a 12mm spanner for the nuts, and then you've got your mains power lead coming into the side of the van from the power on site. We always advise you have the power turned off on the post before you connect the lead to the caravan, then turn the power supply on, and then turn the caravan on internally. Again, I'll show you how to turn it on once we go inside. 2 fridge vents are very simply there to allow the hot air at the back of the fridge unit to take some cool air in. On the top right hand side here, you have a gas flue for when the fridge is running on gas. Motor mover and wheel nuts. We'll demonstrate the motor mover while you're here on site, and we'll also torque the wheel nuts to the correct setting so you can see they've been tightened correctly before you leave site. You then have your 2 grey waste pipes coming out the side of the van. So you open up these flaps and you have 2 bits of grey pipe that go into them larger diameter holes there, and they'll drop down inside your waste master. Coming towards the back of the van, you've got your toilet flush tank, so you need to open this up, pop the key in and release the cap. You'll put 3.5 litres of water into here with a cap full of the pink fluid that comes as part of your starter pack, and essentially that's a fragranced flush for the toilet. Then at the bottom you'll see your toilet waste cassette itself. So to release the toilet waste cassette, you pull up the green handle down the bottom here, or push down, sorry, then release it from the side of the caravan. The black neck here turns out 90 degrees, tip the waste away. The black cap is a measure for your pink and your blue fluid. And on the back of the cassette, you've got your green pressure relief button, so when you're tipping your waste away, it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. In this cassette, you need to put 1 litre of water and a cap full of the blue fluid prior to use. As I said, you've got the wind down legs on the back of the van, which are actually just in these arches that you see here on either side. You've then got a storage locker for underneath the bed at the rear of the caravan. Wheel and motor mover again. You've then got a storage locker for at the front of the van here. Now this is what we call a wet storage locker. So essentially, if you've got any wet accessories, you can put all your wet accessories in there and then seal it up so they don't go inside the van. Then you've got a 3-pin socket so you can have power out to your awning. And then you've got a barbecue gas point on the front of the van also just here. Turn the gas, put your connector in place, and then turn on the barbecue point by turning this red handle 90 degrees so the arrows are pointing in line with the pipework. Coming onto the inside of the caravan now. Above the door, as we come into the van, you've got your main power switch. So you've got power on this switch just here. You've got your roof lighting for the caravan. You've got your awning light for the outside of the van. You've got your battery voltage just here on the screen. And you've got your water pump run just on the bottom left hand side here. We'll come back to the water pump run in a moment and show you how that works. It's going at battery poor at the moment just because of the fact I've turned the power on and we haven't turned on the isolator switch yet, but I'm just going to, there's a reason for that, and I'm just going to show you what the reason is for that now. So underneath the seat on the front left hand side of the caravan, right hand side of the caravan, you will find that you have a mains consumer unit underneath here. Now on this right hand side bottom, you'll see there's some trip switches. Now at the moment, as the mains power is turned off, hit this test switch and nothing happens. If the power was turned on, this black switch here should drop down as it is just done with my finger pushing it down. But now when I turn the power on, at the power supply on the wall, So when you're on site, you'll need to hit the test switch here, and when it drops down, it means the mains power is turned on. At the top here, you've got 3 switches, and you need to have each of these pushed in when you are connected to mains power on site. On the bottom left hand side here, you have your 12-volt fuses for the 12-volt systems on board the caravan. And you have your main isolated switch of the caravan, so you press this switch in and it will pop out, and that means the power will be turned off. And when the switch is in, as it is now, so it's flush almost, it means that the power is turned on. Down below here on the door, you have a list of what the 12-volt fuse is for, and you also have a list for the 240 switch, trip switches on the right hand side. When you're connected to mains power on site, once you're ready to start filling the water system up, should I say, you need to make sure the yellow valve underneath the seat is flat with the floor as it is at the moment. If that valve was upright and pointing towards the bottom of the seat, it would drain all the water in the water system onto the floor underneath the van. So you leave it flat with the floor as it is now. Then you come over to every tap on board the caravan. You open all the taps up on the hot side of the water system. As you can see, I've already pre-filled the system. But normally when you're done using the caravan, you'll put all these taps into the central position. You open up the yellow valve and it will drain all the water down. That does include the shower tap also, but to fill it, hot side of the water system. You then come over to the control panel above the door and you hit the water pump switch. That will allow the water system on board the van to start filling. When it initially starts filling, it's going to be a bit like when the water's been turned off at home. It's going to spit and splatter. Once you have water running out of every tap on board the van continuously on the hot side of the water system, you can then shut down all of the taps and then you're ready to start warming the water on board the van. Like I said, you have to bleed the hot side prior to trying to turn on the heating and hot water system. If you don't do this, you could potentially have just air inside the tank, and it could potentially cause the element inside the tank to burn out, a bit like when you turn on a kettle without water in it. Then we come over to the Aldi control panel. We turn it on by pressing the button on the bottom left hand side here. The screen will come on. We'll turn the brightness up in a second. Let's go into here. Right. So now on the screen, you can see at the top here, you've got your room temperature. You've got minus or plus for your room heating. The higher you go, obviously the hotter the heating will be. Just going to turn it off for now, because I don't think we need it on today. Below that, you've got your water temperature. You've got water off when this bar is completely empty and these 2 blocks are blue. When it goes green on the one side and you've got the bar halfway up, that is the hot water on. So what that is essentially doing is just warming the water up at a gradual temperature. If I completely fill this bar with the black here, as you can see, it means that the water heater is on boost, so it boosts the system for when you're showering on board the caravan. Below that, you have the amount of power coming into the caravan from the caravan site. You've got the option of 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts. Here on site, we can run a maximum of 1 kilowatt, so that's what we've got it set at the moment. So at the moment, it will start running on 1 kilowatt, but it will depend on what caravan site you're on to what you set this to. If you're off-grid, you'll have to use the gas, which I'll explain in a moment. But if you're on a site with 3 kilowatts available, then you can select the 3 kilowatts and the heating and hot water will run it its most efficient power setting. If you're not sure what to set this to, ask your site office when you arrive on your holiday. To ignite the gas system, simply hit the gas option on the bottom left hand side and it will self-ignite on gas. If it fails to ignite, it will come up with gas fail at the bottom of the screen here. For the advanced settings in the control panel, we do advise you read the manual fully before trying to operate them, and you will find that in the front of the caravan or in the office at the moment, so I'll make sure when you come into the caravan they are inside the van ready for you. The microwave works a bit like a household microwave, the only difference being it's got an eco option, so you have to hit the eco button here for the microwave to wake back up, as you can see. The fridge works very much like a household fridge. Press the power button on the left hand side here and the fridge will kick in. At the moment it's operating on 240 mains, and we can control the temperature of the fridge on gas or mains on this button on the right hand side here with the thermometer on it. The more bars you have lit up, the colder the fridge will be. One thing you do need to remember is with a caravan fridge, due to the fact they're not inside a house, which is generally cooler and it's drawing in the air straight from outside of the caravan, on an extremely hot day the fridge will not be as efficient as what it would be on a colder day, for instance. To ignite the fridge on gas, you hit the gas option here. The fridge will self-ignite on gas. If it fails to ignite, it'll actually flash the blue warning light just here. But if it does ignite, this blue light here will stay solid to indicate it has ignited. It will also flash the red warning light on the right hand side here if it has failed to ignite. To reset the igniter, should you need to, you press and hold. So that's if it's failed to ignite. You can press and hold the button on the right hand side here and it'll actually restart the igniter. You've then got 12 volt mode. Now a lot of people think it is the 12 volt mode from the 12 volt battery from the caravan itself. It is not. It is the 12 volt supply from the vehicle you are towing with, and essentially it works off the alternator on your car and the connection on the back of your car. So if you have the right connection on the car, it will put a 12 volt supply to the caravan, which will charge the battery on board the van as you're travelling. However, it'll also put a 12 volt supply to the fridge to turn it into a cool box. If it is operating, you'll need to, if you want to try and operate it, you'll need to turn the car on first, come inside the van, turn the fridge control panel on. You do not need to have the control panels up by the door turned on. Just turn the fridge on and hit the 12 volt mode. If the light goes solid blue here, it means it is operating on 12 volt from the car. You will have no temperature control on 12 volt mode, but like I said, on mains or gas you can operate the temperature control by pressing in the thermometer button here on the right hand side. Hob, grill and oven all work very much like your household appliances, so we're just going to ignite it up so you can see the hob is working. When you're here on site, if you want to have a go with the electric ring, obviously turn it on so you can see it's getting hot. However, before you ever shut the glass lid, you do need to make sure the hob has cooled down completely. So to ignite the hob, like you would at home, take a few seconds to get gas supply up to the hob. Front one. As you can see, everything is ignited on gas as you'd expect it to. Just going to show you the hob, the grill and oven ignited on gas. Once it's warmed up on this side, it will ignite on this side. There we go. And then you've got the oven as well, which, as you can see, ignites. As it gets warmer, the little flickers of orange flame will actually go blue again, and it is just while it's warming up that you'll see that orange flashing through the flame. Coming through into the bathroom now, and the last thing we're going to go through on this particular caravan. Actually, it's two last things. Towel rail, if you've got little ones in the van, please be careful, because they do get extremely hot, so just bear that in mind. The toilet system is very simple to use. On top of the toilet, you have an electric flush, so you press the button in the middle here to flush your toilet system. The indicator on the top left-hand side here, if this light appears, means the toilet waste cassette is not in the side of the caravan. If it illuminates red here, it needs to put more toilet flush into the tank on the outside. When you see the red light appear here, it means the toilet waste cassette is 3/4 full. And when you see it appear here, it means the toilet waste cassette is completely full. To use the toilet, you need to make sure you pull out this waste handle here, which allows the toilet waste into the cassette under the van. And when you're not using the toilet, you'll need to push this flat back in as it is now. So it allows you to remove the toilet waste cassette. One thing you also need to remember is if this is not pushed in and locked in place, it will not allow you to remove the toilet waste cassette, and if you do, you will damage that toilet waste cassette. So that's the Lunar Clubman SE. If you have any further questions on the caravan, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate your business, and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon. Thanks again. Bye bye.